What's up? Welcome back, guys. Hope you're ready to rock here today. Let's get after it. We have 8 seconds left on this 2-minute bar. Looks like we're gonna get an inside close here to kick off the stream. So, yeah, just about. Just about. Next bar, minute 57 out. Good morning. How we doing? Giovanni, Joe, Ninja, Vanny, 5 minute. What's up, guys? Good to see all the regulars. Kane, how we doing? ABB, Mario, good morning. Hope you guys are all doing well thus far today. How are we doing? How are we doing? Couple hours into the trading day so far. You guys up? Having a rough day? Let's talk about it. Orneo, how we doing? All right, we got a minute 22 out on the 2-minute bar. You know, ultimately, I'm looking at this kind of look here. We can get a nice bull close near the high in the next 65 seconds. I will buy that rollover to kick off the stream here. Lonnie up on funded, down on eval. 5 minute 4 trade losing streak. It's all right. It's all right. Hey, the streaks come. All right. All right, 15 seconds out here. Let's clean this up. Extend this guy out. Inside close, next bar. If we had a nice bear bar closing near the low, I actually would have been interested in buying that. Right now, I'm just looking at this trading range here. Look at the 5-minute chart, though. We do have this low from early that we could use to stop hunt if we get down there. If we clear these wicks and get a nice close of an entry on a bear bar, right? This is a 5-minute chart. I would do so on the 2-minute or the 5, more than likely the 2-minute. And stop hunt those lows. I would like to do that if we end up with that, but currently I'm just looking at that trading range. Range. All right, 60 seconds out here. Let's see how the Bears close this up. Pat, passed your third 50K eval this morning. Good work. Very good work. All right, here. Let's see how the Bears close this up. Yep, I got to get long there. Got to get long there. I'll suck up the stop here. Doesn't necessarily need to go that far for me to manage risk. We'll take this bar by bar. Position window, top left, as is typical. ATR currently around 15-16, so we'll keep an eye on that as well. Got to make a reasonable ask out of the market here. All right, 47 seconds out here on this 2-minute bar. Let's see if the bears close it up low. Yeah, hey, for me right now, this is just, I'm just betting against this range breaking out. Really, I'm betting on the range, betting against the breakout. If we do get a breakout with a nice close, we'll cut it and move on. As far as back into the range, I'm looking for anywhere between half to a whole ATR. Okay, 22 seconds out. Objective stop is in place. About 26 points of risk in totality here on the protective stop. Good close out of the bears, cut it. Next bar here, 2 minutes out. Thank you, Joe. Yes. For those of you guys not in the free Discord, I don't know why you're not in there yet. I posted up the end of day P&L from yesterday. It was all right. 7,100. See that? There's the stops. There's the stops getting triggered. That was the low of day right there where my cursor is. That was the low of day. So those stops took out an extra maybe 5-6 points, 5.5 points. All right, we had 60 seconds left here on this 2-minute candle. Let's see how we close up. Clean out this range for the time being. Five seconds out, big wick back out of the bulls. Okay, no trade, next bar. All right, 1 minute out. Stop limit sell out, ready to place if we get an outside close compared to that previous bar's wick. Place that. 1 tick below the wick of the current bar. And we'll give that 20, 25, 30 seconds to see if we get a fill. If not, we'll pull it, move on. Want to get it filled as quickly as possible here. There we are. Suck that up. Suck that down. See if we can get some good follow through here out of the bears. Good, into money quickly. That's what I like to see. ATR 17. Let's see if we can't get at least a full ATR here. I'd like to. Getting met with a little bit of buying pressure here. Alright, see how this 2-minute bar closes here. Pushed us in the money about 10 points quickly, met with some buying pressure. That's a pretty obvious doji bar, okay? So this next bar, we've already seen that sequence once before, so I couldn't get long there, so it's not a flattening decision. Let's see how this next bar closes. This is likely a decision bar for me. Minute 38 out. All right, 50 seconds here. All right, a couple seconds out here until we get to close. Well, I wouldn't be able to get long there. Let's see this next bar. A little more information is what we need. You know, ATR is 17 and a half. I think volatility feels like a little bit higher than that. In a good way. All right, 55 seconds out. We have a dual rollover here on the 5-minute and the 2-minute. Let's see, if the bulls close this up nice and strong, if this bar closed right now, I'd cut it and we'd move on. Let's see if the bear is wicked on back or if it closes even stronger. Protective stop, of course, is always out in case. "25 seconds here. See, good morning. How we doing? All right, I was going to cut it. Protective stop will get hit. Next trade. All right, this is good, though. Volatility seems to be picking up. Good close out of the bulls. Though now, I got to tell you, we're looking at this coming to fruition. At least I am. I have an expanding wedge. So we'll watch this next bar. If we do get a nice clean bull bar, closing near its high in the top third of the range, probably top quarter of the range, I'll have to short it. Right now, I'd say we're in the middle of the range. All right, 23 seconds out. Let's see here, man. Bulls close it up nice and strong. I would like that. Let them get cocky, and then I'm going to have to bet against it if they close it strong. Limit order out. Let's see if we get a fill. Give that, 20, 30 seconds. 30 seconds absolute max. If no fill, I gotta pull it. There we go. There's the fill. Suck up that wrist just a tad. Expand that out to the very low of the range, just for our protective orders. And see if the bears can suck this right on back into the channel. ATR is creeping up. We're at about 18 on the ATR now. Bulls trying to pop it up through. There's the... Here. There you go. There's the 5-minute chart being met with that 20 on the 5. Very strong bull push here. Let's see. Bear's trying to step in a little bit here. Okay. Inside bar. Minute 50 out. Mark, what's the logic? Placing the order one tick above previous bar when selling? That's a limit order market right now. At least within the, you know, top thirds of the range. Now, if the range... Here, let me show you this. You can't really see what I'm looking at. See this wedge, how we're expanding? Now, if the range snaps up and pushes higher, then my trade is just out the window. The idea, right? But the range, when I'm betting against breakouts, that's a limit order market. Now, stop limit entries, Mark, would be one tick above for continuation. That would be a continuation setup. Right now, I just don't believe the breakout's going to go very far. Now, if it does, I'll cut it and move on and continue a little losing streak here. But you can't, you know, it doesn't, you're ignoring context if you say, you know, surely the break of a previous bar is bullish. Is it a bullish sign in the moment? Are the bulls taking it higher? Yeah, they are. But, you know, for me to maintain any kind of statistical edge, you can't ignore context of the market. If you just buy any breakout in a range market, you're gonna lose. The same way that if you short any, you know, breakout attempt in a bull trend market, you're also probably going to lose money if it's a strong enough bull market. So, you know, don't ignore the context. But of course, if the range breaks, then you just lose, you move on. Fucking big deal. All right, Bears trying to fade this back into the range. Let's see if they can here. I'd like to get a relatively considerable pullback into the range here. Let's see how this closes. That's an add. I gotta add one piece here. Because I would get short there if I were flat, so I gotta add. By the way, see how this bar closed beneath this bar's wick? There's your reasoning on that. Because if I were flat, I would have had to get short. So what does that turn into? It's sell decision, which means add. I'm already sitting short. Let's see if these bears take it down through a little bit, and I pull piece number 2. There you go, piece number 2 pulled for a nice little profit on piece number 2, and now we're just going to leave piece number 1, see if we can get a bigger pullback into the channel. Add piece back, number 2 back. Have to get short there. As we pull back into the range, got to keep an eye out though. Alright, bears take it down through, so maybe we can get a nice profit on ad number 2. Just recycling here. Recycling contracts. This is one of those scenarios that makes a lot of sense to do so. There we go. Nice profit on piece number 2. Pull piece number 2 back down to 1 tier. You can see how that average changes, but this trade thus far has been extremely helpful in digging us out of that first couple of trade hole. So I'll kind of let you know the final tally to the best of my math ability once we're out here, as far as P&L on this trade in totality. So you guys should be able to keep track if you're keeping an eye. So 2 reasons to manage here. We've already recycled a second tier twice, which has put us pretty nicely in the money on the trade thus far. First clean bull bar above the previous bar's wick high, and I cut that last remaining tier, or a push back deeper closer to the lower third of the channel. and we cut the remaining tier. Either way, barring any crazy news, we should be in a nice position on this trade here. We'll just suck up the protective order, kind of update that to a new level that makes better sense. There we go. All right, 40 seconds out on this 2-minute bar. All right, 10 seconds. See if this turns into a cut for this last tier here. All right, we'll cut that last piece and move on. So all in all, that was about 3,000 bucks on that trade, including the last tier little loss that we just took there. But we averaged, not averaged, we added a second tier, pulled it, added a second tier, pulled it, recycled contracts throughout the way, and then just cut the last piece on a rule. Okay, so that took us from 5,700 bucks in the red to 26.93 in the red here so far. We're only 3 trades in, so we're just getting started. So that's about 3,000 on that trade. So, I mean, listen, there's a good example. I know a lot of you guys are like, hey, like, what do you mean? I want to see you recycle contracts more. I want to see you trade around a core. That wasn't really trading around a core. That was more just recycling. There you go. There's an example. You got to do it when it makes sense. If it doesn't make sense, you can't just necessarily be adding all the time. But there's a lot of times where it makes sense, you know? So. All right, 30 seconds out. Shrinking bull body. Let's see if this next one turns into another bear bar. All right, let's do a poll. "40 seconds out, by the way, from this bar. All right, vote. I gotta know. By the way, if you don't know, contract recycling is what I just did. You take an entry. If there's an ad that you would have to take a trade on if you were flat, you add. Then you make just buy and sell decisions based on your personal rule book mixed with your, discretionary decision making. Damn, a lot of you guys are actually recycling contracts. I honestly thought that this would get blown away. Yeah, 5 minute, the commissions, they add up, but it's cost of doing business. Rather than you just gotta look at it as part of the trade. I mean, if you can't make it work with the commissions, you're probably not gonna be able to make it work with the commissions on the minis either. But some days you might be really small green and the commissions push you to break even, of course. But, it's a cost of doing business. Scalpers have been dealing with commissions for 20 years. 30 years, shit. All right, 20 seconds out. Let's clean this up as to not confuse everybody. Pop up the open P&L position window and get a stop limit buy ready just in case we need it. Place that, give that 15 seconds and we're filled. Suck that up to the curl, see if we can get a push. Now if this turns into this, by the way, then that's fine. We can cut it, move on. ATR about 16. So with ATR being 16, looking from anywhere, half an ATR-ish, whole ATR-ish. On this trade, more likely closer to a half. But we'll see. We'll take it bar by bar. All right, bar rollover coming here. There it is. Bulls being met with the Bears seeing that channel that I drew previously. So I'll keep an eye on that. We'll see if that becomes a thing or if the Bulls kind of slowly push this through. Let's see. Or at least attempt a retest of pushing it. Yeah, bull's having a little trouble up there. Still have not seen. Got very close. About 7.5 points in the money at best, and then the bulls are having trouble. Never really got the half ATR, so let's see here. 23 seconds till this bar closes. Let's see what this bear bar turns into if the bears are able to knock this baby back down into the widening wedge. Yeah, inside close. Minute 39 out here. All right, we got about 35 seconds left here on this 2-minute bar. At this point, I see a wedge more than anything. See that tightening down? Which eventually means it's going to break. Which way does it break? That's about 50-50. Take a single ad if I can get it in the low end of that new wedge. Try to clean things up a little bit here. If we can. Take piece number 2 off for a nice profit there. Small, but nice. 7-8 points out of piece 2. It's about half an ATR out of piece 2. I'll see if piece 1 can make things work here. All right, 21 seconds out here from the close of this 2-minute bar. Just back down to a single piece. And we'll see how we have to manage this last piece here. right, less than a minute left here on this 2-minute bar. 50 seconds. And again, right now I'm questioning, you know, hey, does this, here, wait, I gotta draw the other part of it. Does that wedge kind of hold up? If not, we'll cut this, like, last piece of the scalp and move on. If we get a close outside of there. 30 seconds out, protective stop below the curl. All right, we're about 2 minutes and 10 seconds in to the 5-minute bar here. There you go. There's the 5-minute bar currently. Smaller body than the previous bear bar. Keep an eye on that. All right, 15 seconds out here. Just managing the last piece of this trade. Let's see if there's a management decision on that bar. There is not. That's going to close inside as a doji. So I'll leave that for now. No reason to cut it, no reason to add. Bar by bar, baby. Range mentality. Let's see how our poll's doing, huh? All right, 75% of you are single entry, single exit. 25% are recycling contracts, meaning you work the position while you're in it, typically multiple entries, multiple exits, and depending on how the decision-making process goes, you can sometimes end up with a core position. Like, for example, if you take a long scalp, and then the way that the bars end up operating, you end up taking an ad, taking it off, taking an ad, taking it off. You end up with a new piece by the end of that, and you never really have a reason to manage the last piece. Sometimes it can turn into almost like a core. It's not a swing trade. Does that make sense to you guys? It's not a swing trade, but it's a core. But I'm surprised 25% of you are already trading that way, which is cool. I thought it'd be less, honestly. All right, decent close there out of the bulls. Slightly outside close of the previous bar, but inside of these 2 wicks. So leave that trade on for now. See if we can get that last piece working for us. If you guys haven't yet, man, like the stream. It helps out a lot. Really, it does. And I appreciate you doing so. All right, last piece here. Let's see if we need to do any kind of managing. We're very close to that protective stop now here, just below that curl. So there's very little management to do, except in the money on this last piece. Again, we've had multiple pieces on this scalp. This is the last remaining piece. See if it clips us out and we can move on here from flat. There's no reason to add on that close. No reason to cut it that close to the stop though either. When we're coming in for a test of what, you know, is not uncommon to be a double bottom. We've been seeing that a lot lately. What if the bears take out this curl here? Then I just want to be out of this final piece and we can move on from flat. Viper, how big would you have to go? Are you asking me? Are you asking like me personally or for the average trader? How big would you have to go to feel the dopamine? I assume you mean overtake the discipline? All right, there we go. That last piece will flatten us. Let's move on here. 45 seconds out. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Listen, it's kind of a loaded question, because if I went so big just to try to feel dopamine, I would never do that, because that's what kills everybody. And I would just be overwhelmed. It would not feel good to me, because it would feel overwhelmingly bad knowing that I'm trading too big, which would overtake any dopamine. Listen, guys, if you're coming in and you just get really, really high on wins, you need to desensitize yourself, which means you need to trade more screen time. Stop holding on to this dream that you're going to take a 15-minute trade per day and make a living and go lay on the beach, because 18 months of doing that and you're going to be severely depressed. All right, 90 seconds out. $60 seconds. See if we can get a nice clean bull close near the high of the range. No. Is that a question, Hell Saint? If you've been keeping up at all, that's not even close to true. Try to keep up, buddy. All right, here comes the rollover of this 2-minute bar. Let's see. It seems to me the market right now is trying to define some kind of new range. You could draw flat. I'll move it down a little bit. Make this argument. All right, 60 seconds left here on this 2-minute bar. All right, let's see. Nice bull bar coming toward the top of what looks to me like a tightening wedge. So let's see if we can get an entry. Yeah, I'll take that entry short. Ooh, not the best fill. That last minute adjustment. Hold up. Let's go 2050. The protective ore, suck this guy down. ASAP, is take profit better than top step? Yeah, I don't know. I really like take profit. The daily payouts are very nice. There's very few rules. They let you do what you want. If you want to scalp this way, they're not going to have a problem with it. And in my experience, honestly, the way that I do this, Apex doesn't have an issue with it. I've never had a problem. Will I sometime? Sure, maybe, probably. But I've never had an issue. Apex has never come back and said, you can't recycle contracts. Because I trade small. That's 52 micros is my starter position across many accounts. That's small. So even when I'm adding, even if I add 4 times, I'm not trading as big per account as a lot of you guys are on your starter positions. Then you wonder why you're blowing all the time. You're not giving yourself a shot, man. You're trading too big. All right, 1 ATR currently is about 15 points. So let's keep an eye on this here. All right, new 2-minute bar here. Little over a minute left here on this 2-minute bar. Let's see how the price action goes. Chris, got a Lightning funded account with Tradeify this morning. Now that I've had a funded account and gotten 1,000 in payouts, the idea of trading evals for no money makes me sick. Yeah, listen, once you have Edge, the Lightning funded accounts can make a lot of sense, but don't make that your entire business at one firm, you know, but adding it in once you know, okay, I clearly have some Edge and this is working, it makes a lot of sense. All right, ATR right now, we're sucking up a little bit. We're down from about 16 on the ATR to about 14. So we'll keep an eye on that there. You can see that bottom of the screen in teal. All right, 48 seconds left here on this 2-minute bar. Wick back out of the bears there. See that? Next bar here. Minute 56 out. Peter! Nico just hit 15 days green, locked out for the day. Good work. Good work, Peter. All right, so keep an eye on this wedge here. I'll give the bulls even a little extra room, just to be nice to them. It's collapsing, right? Eventually this is gonna snap up. I gotta tell you guys, I don't think I can hold it. I gotta run and use the bathroom for 30 seconds to come back. I'll be right back. Right back, pee break. Manage here, look. See that? That's where the trade currently sits. I'll be back in not a long time. All right, we're back. We're back. We just get a little bit of news. Nothing coming through yet on the wire. I'll let you guys know if something did. Not a tremendous move, but sometimes those little wiggles can be a headline. "22 seconds out here. Decent little rollover. Outside of that wedge. Bulls are going to really have to prove themselves to me a little more than that. See if they can get it high enough for our protective order there. Caden, market's hunting my stops today. They're after you. I always find it very comical when people are trading like one contract, like one micro or one NQ even, or a few NQs. And they're like, my stop losses are getting hunted. It's like, no one cares. Nobody cares. Unless you're putting them in really, really clear spot. Now listen, there's a lot of times the best place to put a stop is in a place that's relatively clear, but you have to understand that if you're putting it at like the low of day, yeah, I mean, scalpers like myself, I'm looking for that all the time to try to hunt those stops because you know that they're there because it's the best place to put it. If you're long, for example, and I'm looking to hunt it to the short side, yeah. But you can't be mad about it when that plays out because, you know it's coming if you take out that low. All right, a few seconds out here. All right, if the bulls hold this up, we'll get stopped, and then I gotta tell you, if we break this and hold this, all of a sudden a lot changes. This here, right where my cursor's at. They gotta hold it. Five-minute chart, by the way, closing in about 2 minutes and 12 seconds. Rivka, how many contracts do you trade? It's on screen, big guy. Top left. Around 50, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, depending on which accounts I'm working on and how many are in the trade copier group at that given time. That's going to be the starter position. Then it goes up from there. All right, let's clean this up. All right, my cursor's right at that double top. See, that stop is right afterward. You know, you'd think that the bears are going to meet them right after the pop through. That's all right. It's all right if they do pop through. I don't want to stick around. See, that bear's meeting him right at 1950. There we go. All right, back to flat here. Let's see if the bulls can actually close. We have a dual rollover coming, by the way. 5 minute, 2 minute, both a minute 48 out. Also got to keep an eye on that 50% retracement. All right, let's keep an eye on it. All right, we're gonna have to swap over to the 5. And let's see here. That ready in case. Nope, no trade. Inside close. Pull that next bar. Back on the 2-minute. All right, Christian. See you soon. All right, back in 2 minutes. All right, we're back. We are back. Back to the 2-minute here. And let's see what kind of action we get on this bar. Watching that wick low. Nah, inside close, nothing there. Next bar. All right, 50 seconds out here. Gonna stop limit sell ready. Let's see if we can get a half decent setup here. I'll give it 15 seconds. That's a B setup at best. The lower the grade of the setup, the quicker of follow through I need to see. Yeah, no fill, pull it. Next bar. All right, decent bull bar here. Curious to see how this closes. An eye on this. Not a chance. Next bar. Poll time. All right. I'm ending How Do You Scalp Trade. Single entry, single exit, 72% of you. Contract recycling, 28%. It's actually higher on the contract recycling than I thought it would be, which is cool. All right, you bullish or bearish from here? We're pretty much at the 50% retracement point. That's the 5-minute chart. I mean, look here, if I scroll back a little bit, we're pretty much damn near close to that 50% retracement point, so this is a good time. I imagine we're probably going to be relatively binary, huh? Let's see how many people actually have the guts to answer. Kind of slow. A lot of you were like, yeah, I'm going to hold off on that one. All right, minute 13 out from the rollover here, this 2 minute. By the way, we're testing not only the 20 EMA on the 2, which I don't care too much about, but we're also testing the 20 EMA on the 5 minute, which you can see. Always worth paying attention to. We are 50-50 here on the poll. All right, if we get it closed beneath 800 here on this bar, then I will like to use a stop limit sell if we close beneath 800. There, we will, so I will have to place that. Give that about 30 seconds, see if we can get a fill, and we will. Actually, I'm gonna leave the protective order. Boom. That curl. Doesn't have to go that far, of course. That's to protect our accounts from news. Christian, you're back? What's up, brother? How we doing? Vonnie Joe. I'll share, as I know people have dealt with this and are dealing with this. Nico, preach and yell at me. I'm having my best day ever, and now I'm gun shy. Stupid, I know, and for so many reasons. Yeah, you know, Joe, that's actually not that dumb. If you're having your best day ever, guess what? You're now in an emotional state because you've never been here before. And when you're in an emotional state, your decision making is not going to be as good as it could be. So it's time to probably lock it up and walk away. You've touched uncharted territory. We understand that this is a game of sample size, and if you have edge, you technically should increase the sample size, right? Mathematically, you should, but the question is, do you still have edge? Because your decision making is going to go out the fucking window, right? Because you're like, this is my best day ever, I don't want to screw it up, and then you start making weird decisions that you normally might not. All right, let's see if the bears can take this back and backfill this bigger range here. So what do we got to keep an eye on? that. You could probably draw it like that as well. A couple different ways you could draw that. Keep an eye on that. There's always a lot of looks. Somewhat of a flat top here, right? Derek, and Nico, silly question, but how many monitors do you use? It's not. We could talk about this all day, man. The right answer to this question of how many monitors do you need to be a profitable trader is always one more. I currently have, well, I mean, Derek, are we counting all of them in the room or just what's in front of me that I'm looking at right now? In front of me that I'm looking at right now, 4, but they're big. So if you wanted to like parse them out as, you know, how many 1080p monitors do I have? A lot. I have 3 4K monitors that are big, the curved widescreen ones. I have 2 vertical to my right. I have a big ultra wide 1440p monitor that I'm currently trading on. And then I have a regular standard size 4K monitor top left. So, do you need 4 monitors? No, of course not. It's a lot. It's probably too much. But I need more space with all the other stuff I got going on. And then behind me I have 2, and then I have a TV top right. You really only need 2. I think you'd probably need more than 1 if you're gonna trade. 2 is a really good place to sit if all you're doing is trading. But you might as well have fun with it. And if you like tech, don't let anyone tell you you don't need 1 more. Well, back just barely in the green on the trade here. Damn straight, Christian. Actually, tell her that Nico said you can always get 1 more, no matter how many already exist in your trading room. All right, 45 seconds left here on this 2-minute bar. Let's see. All right, Michael. Hey, good to have you today. That right there is going to be an ad for me, so I got to add on that bar because that would be a getting short bar if I were flat. So what is that? That's a sell decision, which means I gotta take an ad on that 2-minute bar rollover. Where's Quicksilver when you need him? If the legend of Quicksilver could join up right now and dump this thing about 75 points, that would be very helpful. All right, Doji closed there on the 2-minute, new 2-minute bar here. Come on, Bears, take it down through. Let's keep kind of an eye on this flat bottom. Small potential, but it's there. Keep an eye on it. About a minute 25 left here on this 2-minute bar. ATR about 11. which is relatively slow. Not bad, though. We can work with that. Joe, nice setup, brother. Posted a picture in the Discord. All right, we got a minute 22 left here on this 2-minute bar. Oh yeah, if you added a second 49-incher up top, that'd be crazy. All right, let's see here. By the way, here's the 5-minute look. Bull's trying to take it back through that 20 EMA. And, you know, this look here. Certainly something to keep an eye on. We'll keep that drawn up there. All right, no decision needs to be made on that bar. Next bar here, minute 50 out. Are you trading demo? For sure, dude. I spend my days trading demo. They're funded. Come on now. All right, we got a dual rollover here coming between the 5 and the 2. You take a look up top, 43 seconds out from the rollover of both the 5 and the 2. Right now, I'm looking at this as a wedge. We could draw this a number of ways. You could argue a flat top, though that gets kind of tough. I'd probably draw it more like this. But this here for sure. Keeping an eye on that. See on the 2 here. We're going to see this close as a doji. which tells us all of this was in the first 3 minutes of that 5-minute bar. The last 2 minutes, we got essentially no change, right? So keep an eye on it. All right, 53 seconds out here. Obviously, lots of time left on the 5. 53 seconds, 50 seconds now. Out from the 2. Thirty seconds. About halfway through this 5-minute bar. Roy, stop hunting at 8:35. Yeah, there's gonna be some stops there, not a million. Roy's looking at this curl right here. Derek, nice setup, big dog. We got everyone dropping their setups in the Discord here, man. All right, trying to pull on back here to that 5-minute 20 EMA. At least the bears are trying. Again, top left, that's a 5-minute chart. Jose, good afternoon. Watch you every day. Started about a month ago. Learned a lot from you. Thanks. Good to have you, Jose. Good to have you, brother. Yes, sir, dollar bill. All right, so keeping an eye on this guy. All right, let's check in. Let's check in on our poll here. Who had the guts to vote? Oh my God. Oh my goodness. 50% bullish, 50% bearish, with a reasonable sample size of votes. That's the beauty of the market, man. Everyone sees it a little differently. Well, ATR on the 2-minute up here sitting at 10.8. Pulling in a little bit on that average range of a 2-minute bar. Gaines, nice setup, big dog. Before you know, you'll have 22 monitors. I'll tell you what, on the 5-minute, I mean, I'm still looking at this. But if this can get snapped up, things start looking really, really nice. For a potential big old move downside, maybe take out these low of days. That's a big ask right now with an ATR of 10 or 11. But an interesting thought. Because, I mean, realistically, we have a tightening wedge. Probably wouldn't draw this as a flat top. I'd probably draw it like that. Just the average of what you think everyone's going to draw. Man, 5 dojis in a row, essentially, after 2 stronger bear bars over there on the 2-minute top right. Kind of killing off ATR a little bit. 10.5. What's up, Drac? How we doing? Finally, a little break of this structure. That was tight. See if the Bears can at least hold it. And then we gotta watch this on the 5. Watching both charts right now at the moment. All right, guys. Back in 2. All right, we are back, baby. Volatility's fallen. ATR is about 9.5. So keeping an eye on that wedge on the 5-minute top left. Gotta watch both the 5 and the 2 right now. Only break even on the short. Average 806 even. Now, I ran a poll on the channel last night, but I'm genuinely curious. Do most of you guys, are you guys still trading or are you done for the day? Like on an average day, do you trade the afternoon? Pretty mixed, huh? Yeah, ABB. Work on a different account here. That makes sense. Tom all day. All right, let's keep an eye here. Top of the range. Yeah, watching that 5-minute here as we come into this wedge test. You can see here the bears are trying to step in right at the top of this little wedge. You could draw this a few different ways. I mean, I just kind of split the difference. But we'll see if the bears are able to hold that down. Or if the bulls end up breaking this out and we end up heading back toward, well, I guess through the 50% retracement point, right, at that point? Let's see here. Got a minute 47 left on this 5-minute bar. There's going to be a dual rollover between the 5 and the 2. Zach, ATR increasing? Yeah, it looks like on the 2 minute, the ATR is about 11. 10, 11, 10 and a half, 11. Not increasing too much. Well, the bears are trying to step in here. I mean, you can see that they are. Bulls are having a little bit of trouble after a nice strong bull bar like that out of the 5. If you're really entering into a trend, typically you get at least a second shrinking bull bar. The bulls are having a hell of a time. We know this wedge exists. Let's keep an eye on that wedge. Vinny, good to see you here today, brother. See you on Monday. There's a pullback, huh? Look at this. Couple of headlines here out of Trump. He said, if the meeting with Putin doesn't go well, I'll head home. I would head back home real fast. Yeah, I mean, it's a little sloppy, but you can see. Headline driven, yes. But just range with this wedge. Still about 4 minutes out to the rollover here of the 5-minute bar. This is a fresh 2-minute bar here. D-Hin, this is MNQ. 5 minute, top left. 2 minute, top right. New York session daily there on the bottom. By the way, Trump followed up that statement saying that he would head home, and he said, the Putin meeting will work out very well. What's up, Chris? Good to see you, brother. Our poll, man, sample size is increasing and we're still damn near 50-50. 53% of you are bullish, 47% bearish. Split right down the middle. It's good, it's just about the way it should be. You know, ATR on the 2-minute chart sitting at 12. It's picked up a couple of points on the average range of a 2-minute bar. It got as low as, well, about 9 actually. The ATR got as low as 9. Went up to 13, now we're at about 12. Which is, you know, it's not the end of the world. Alright, Ninja, hey, good to see you today. All right, bear's trying to take it back down into this little wedge. Looking at that wedge still on the 5-minute top left. Bulls tried to break it out up top. They actually did take out this little stop hunting region. Now they're getting faded. Let's see if the bears try to break their own side. You know they're going to try. Matter of are they strong enough here? Yeah, there you go. There's another bear attempt. You get met with maybe a little bit of selling. I'm sorry, a little bit of buying here as they attempt the low of that wedge. Same wedge, top left on the 5-minute. Watching the test here. Other little bear tests here. Bit of a flat bottom right ahead at 800. That's 23,800. Gotta keep an eye right on this kind of region. It's not rated 804, but it's in that region for sure. All right, well, there's the test of 807. We got that flat bottom right around 800 again, right ahead of 800, like 80. Well, really 800 up to like 810. I'd really call it 800 to 805. Right at the bottom of that wedge. That's also basically the 20 EMA on the 5-minute, right? Those two are the look currently. 40 seconds out here from a dual rollover on the 5 and the 2. 5-minute top left, 2-minute top right, 33 seconds out. And we're streaming late today. 1:20 already. HR just under 12. It's 11.7. This 813 region, right here on the 5. Bottom of that wedge, currently mixing with the 20 EMA here on the 5, is causing a hell of a little area of hesitation. We still got to watch that flat bottom right around 800 to 805. Here we go. Let's see if we get a test. Here's the test. Ran in for the test, met with a little bit of buying pressure. Oh, I don't know, bulls. I don't know, the bears seem kind of hungry to see a breakthrough there. Let's see. You know the bulls are going to try to prop it. Question is, can they? Good to have you, Paul. Good to have you. All right, here come the bulls to try. They're trying. They're giving it their best shot here. This is a hell of a battle. We're at around like 810, 815. From about 800 up to about 815, 820. This is quite the battle here. Man, look at this wedge with that 20 EMA on the 5-minute top left. Meeting right in the middle. All right, what do you guys think? What do you guys think? In this, are we heading back into this little wedge, or are the bears taking this lower and taking out stops the whole damn way? This is gonna be split. Gaines, you think it's dumping? Zach, dump. Here come the bulls to attempt. Tyson's on the pump side. There's a bull attempt. Here's 820. Remember, this battle, for the most part, kind of exists between 800 and 820. Now, a break above 820 doesn't mean the battle's over. I imagine this is going to be a little longer lived. Let's see. Decent close there on the 2-minute out of the bulls. Not bad. Right back into the wedge. They're on the 5-minute. I guess it exists on both charts, but more obvious here on the 5, at least to look at. Bulls taking it right back in. All right, guys, hey, PHARAOH Friday has to come to a close at some point. I gotta eat lunch. All right, guys, I'll tell you what. Hey, if you have not done so yet, subscribe to the channel. And all weekend long, best deal always at Take Profit Trader and Apex with code BIG, B-I-G, baby. All right, guys, hey, Midas Monday. I'll see you guys Monday morning. And we'll be doing the same thing here all over again. Let's get back to work. Rest up over the weekend. Do not be a trading crackhead over the weekend. Rest up, do your job. Your job is to get rested for Monday. And I will see you guys back here on Monday to get to work and do our job yet again. All right, guys, subscribe. See you Monday morning. Let's talk about in Discord who ends up winning this battle. I'm very curious. Free Discord, wrenchcapital.com/Discord. See you there. All right, guys, see you Monday.